Chinese officials are racing to contain a quickly spreading virus.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Americans should brace for the likelihood the coronavirus will spread to communities in the U.S.
Coronavirus driving a consumer scramble for hand sanitizers.
I declared a state of emergency. I ordered the closure of bars and restaurants statewide, and we put in place a wide range of measures to slow this pandemic.
Well, it was ominous in a way. We started to hear the news from Asia, the pandemic, and we knew it was coming. I remember distinctly waking up in the middle of the night and just having a moment where I asked myself, what do I need to do? What do we need to do? And called a good friend, at the hospital, and just asked him that very question. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said very succinctly, "Everything you can." I started contacting each of our partners, once at the onset of this pandemic. One of those conversations was with Jeff Weber down at Aquavite in Middlebury, and Jeff and I were discussing this, and he goes, I hear Caledonia Spirits, is actually making some hand sanitizer up there, and we're talking to them right now about doing some of that because we have a spinning cone where we already spin the alcohol off of our kombucha.
And I saw on a front porch forum a DIY how to make your own hand sanitizer. And that's when it hit me that there was going to be a huge sanitizer problem. That Saturday when I had that realization, I reached out to a bunch of people in the local community figuring out how we could get involved because we've been extracting alcohol from our kombucha for 5 years now. But we quickly formed a collaboration with Bar Hill.
When you're a distiller, one of the things that you do is you're constantly dipping your hands in spirits, mostly because spirits are so strong and you just kind of dilute it a little bit just by spreading it through your hands and smell it. So we had a lot of internal jokes of, well, at least we'll never run out of hand sanitizer. But we never actually made hand sanitizer. But when this started to really kind of build up, we were like, what if we held a team building event, brought the whole team together and said, let's make our own hand sanitizer. That was just supposed to be a team building exercise and kind of a way to bring some sort of fun light to a very challenging situation. But it's sort of, I think it was when the Department of Public Safety let us know that they had 1,500 first responders that had no hand sanitizer. And then we did end up making a small batch that went to the food bank because they were out of hand sanitizer. And we did these very small orders. To be honest, we weren't sure if it was compliant. We're digging through the compliancy work, but when a first responder needs hand sanitizer, we're sort of like, we'll take whatever slap on the wrist we need. The fire department needs hand sanitizer, police officers need hand sanitizer, and the EMS needs hand sanitizer.
And then we started to realize that there was going to be a huge problem with beer in the market. All the kegs that were being shut down because of restaurants. So I reached out to Dave Farrell, who does all our Vermont distribution, and sure enough, he said that he was sitting on, I forget, something like 68,000 gallons of beer.
We're a middleman of sorts. We don't make anything here. We buy from manufacturers, suppliers, our partners, be they national, international, or local. So many local suppliers are a big part of what we do here. Upwards of 20% of what we do is our local partners. Draft beer specifically is very perishable. It only has about 45 days of shelf life. For us, what that meant was when they got closed, that whole channel closed for us. But we started to discuss the potential of spinning the alcohol off of our beer, as well as, he does it with kombucha, but the spinning cone can spin it off of anything. The yield isn't very good. It's only like a 6% yield, but it doesn't matter. The issue is it's taking something that's would be ordinarily thrown away and turning it around and making it purposeful.
There's a glut of, expiring beer kegs in every cooler around the state, whether it's a restaurant or at a wholesaler or at a supplier themselves. And so those beer kegs are coming to us, and we're removing the beer from the kegs, getting it into larger tanks, and agitating it to get the foam out, trying to degas the liquid, and then we're going to transport it with our tanker that we use to move cider around in our regular everyday operation.
Get the beer processed through our spinning cone, which is basically a continuous flow distillation machine. So we can run it 24 hours a day, stripping alcohol off. And it's done under vacuum pressure. It volatilizes the ethanol and just pulls it out. So we're separating out the alcohol, and then the beer that we're now flushing to the town has lower chemicals and BODs and everything that the town needs to treat. So it helps out everybody.
When Jeff reached out and said, we've got kombucha spirit and or beer spirit, it was one, an amazing find, but two, Jeff is really equipped to do something that we really can't do. What we're really equipped to do is take something around 100 to 130 proof and bring it up to 190 proof. And the reality is that most distilleries don't actually have a column still. They don't actually have, a still like Phyllis that can take something all the way up to 190 proof.
This is Phyllis, named after Ryan's grandmother. Phyllis is a hybrid still. It's currently being used as a 40-plate column still. So both of the large columns are currently being utilized to turn the 130 proof spirit that we are starting with into 190 proof spirit.
This whole situation is really just like a bunch of Vermonters doing what Vermonters do well, which is call up your neighbor and say, hey, how can I help you out?
Farrell's doing that, Citizen Cidery, Farrell, all these people are pivoting quickly to solve new problems that also solve problems in their own business at the same time. So it's good to see, and entrepreneurs are the ones that you should turn to, I think, in times of crisis.
At Citizen Cider, we take the concept of being a good citizen pretty seriously, and when this whole mess started, it was a huge opportunity for all of us to be good citizens towards each other.
What's not surprising is the reaction, right? Is the fabric of the community, is the spirit of Vermonters, is the collaboration amongst Vermonters, is the cooperation amongst all the citizens of this state. You just saw the galvanizing nature of that, how people came together so very, very well through Irene, and I'm seeing exactly the same thing here, if not even stronger.
This story is far from done. We're talking full-time about how to get these safety products into the hands of even more impacted people. The way we live and do business will never be the same, but our spirited response, one of many inspiring stories, is a reminder that whatever challenges come next, our community will be ready and emerge even stronger than before.